Tina Fey blasts white women who voted for Trump for wanting to go back to watching HGTV. This isn't the Home and Garden Network. This is your life. Ooh, starting off strong. Funny woman Tina Fey called out white women who voted for Donald Trump, urging them to not look away just because some of the current political issues don't immediately affect them. A lot of this election was turned by white, college-educated women who now would maybe like to forget about this election and go back to watching HGTV, Fey said during Stand for Rights, a benefit for the ACLU on Friday night. I would want to urge them to, you can't look away because it doesn't affect you at this minute, but it's going to affect you eventually, she says. The comments stem from the SNL alum's discussion with New York Civil Liberties Union Executive Director Donna Lieberman and the ACLU Deputy Legal Director Louise Melling about women's rights and fighting for protection of those rights under the current administration. She openly discussed the future of women's reproductive rights with the two ACLU directors and said, as a college-educated woman herself, she pledges to not look away. Things will eventually affect this group if they don't put a stop to it. And she says here, again, open two windows, do watch HGTV, she continued, but to not turn our attention away from what is happening. Fey famously portrayed former Alaskan Governor Sarah Palin on Saturday Night Live and also served as an anchor of Weekend Update. Two things that come to mind. First, if you're an SNL cast member and you never worked for SNL when they were any good, you have no right to plout that around as if it's something braggable. And second, why do these so-called funny people, these wealthy elites, why do they get so popular from pretending and mocking politicians? In a lot of cases, they're not even really good at it. And I have to say this, I have never seen a mockery character or a characterization on late night of a Democratic political figure. It's always a Republican. Isn't that strange? I'm not a Republican myself, and for a long time I considered myself a Democrat, but the longer I go on, the more I see these tactics that are used. And the more I'm learning about Saul Alinsky and all of these vicious attacks that go on against people of a certain ideology, people particularly on the right. And I've been told this by many people, that there's no bias on television. They represent conservative values pretty well. No, they don't. No, they don't. Best example of this is there is not one conservative talk show host or entertainer on national television. They're all liberal. They all have the same talking points. They're so similar that you wouldn't be able to tell them apart if you switched up the anchors for the shows. You would not be able to tell them apart from one another because they all read the exact same scripts almost word for word just about. And I don't want to get into that too deep. It's another video for another time. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm interested in how many of you think Tina Fey is really funny. I mean, hey, credit where credit's due. I've seen some 30 Rock. She plays a pretty decent, watered-down Michael Scott.